Previously on Irae.
私はシュピーネ。清掃13騎士団黒煙卓第10位ロート・シュピーネ。残念ながら本名はすでに捨ててしまった身ですので、その称号しか持ち合わせていませんがね。
だから聞いてみるんだけどさ、最近あんたもしかして私避けてる？
綾瀬さんが死んだとする。何らかの不条理で大事な人を奪われたらどうしよう。それであなたは結局のところ死んだ人のために何をしてあげるというの？
死人のためにけじめはつけるさ。もういい、勝手にしろ。
だったら綾瀬さん、私と一緒に投稿する？
Episode 19 Verschlimmbesserung. Hearing her name sent out a metaphorical electric shock over my whole body. I turned around, only to be met with the sight of Kasumi peeking her head out from behind a nearby telephone pole. Oh man, did she just hear everything? Cat's out the bag now.
おはよう。
That bitch Sakurai. Girl.
おはよう綾瀬さん、いい朝ね。
Kasumi? Just how long has she been spying on the two of us? As ridiculous as that sounded, I had completely failed to notice her.
藤井君は急いでるから先に行くって言ってるけど、あなたはどうする？
そうだね。
Kasumi threw a glance in my direction, hesitant for a moment. She ultimately spoke up again, her tone feeling somewhat reserved.
そうだね。せっかくだから私は桜井さんと。
おい待て。
Yeah, wait, hang on. Cutting my way between them, what do I do? We gotta drag Kasumi away, right? Yeah, we gotta drag Kasumi away. But before we drag Kasumi away, we're gonna save the game. We gotta drag Kasumi away. We gotta get answers. We gotta, these people are scary. Dragging her away right now.
行くぞ、かすみ。
Two choices in one video. It's unprecedented, I tell you. I grabbed Kasumi by the wrist
ちょっと待ってよ。
and forcefully dragged her away, ignoring Sakurai's sarcasm, lad, and sigh in the background. For the time being, I couldn't let them be around each other.
レン、痛いってば。なんなのよいきなり。あんた変っていうか、ちょっと聞いてるの？もうレンタラ。痛い、離して。
Shut up.
その悪い。
We don't know our own strength. Remember, we have power now. We could easily kill her. I realized I'd been unconsciously gripping Kasumi's arm without any restraint. Because Tendo champion or not, she was still a woman. I couldn't be rough to her.
レン？
なんでもない。
I couldn't tell if the cause was yesterday's training, or the fact that both Sakura and I were alike in a way. But the craving I'd barely felt around her came back in full force the moment Kasumi showed up.
ねえ、桜井さんと何話してたの？
どこから聞いてた？
それは別
Oh,
に
thank God.
ケーキ屋さんがどうとか、桜井さんが他の人と仲良くしたらレンが怒るとか。
It's only the last bit. That made me heave a mental sigh of relief.
あのさ。
Before she could break into any sort of argument, I lifted a hand to silence her.
悪いけどかすみ、ちょっと一人にしてくれ。
We gotta be firm. Yeah, it's rough, but, it's the best way to go about it, We can't have her getting mixed up with Sakurai and all these freaks.
ごめんな。
To do that, we can't be anywhere near. I'm sorry. I know we all like Kasumi, but it's what we have to do. And with that, I hastily passed through the gate. I knew how much it pained Kasumi to be left out of the loop, but what else was I supposed to do? I took this dangerous power from her, along with all those painful memories, because I wanted her to lead a peaceful life as an everyday high school student. If I'm going to do that, I have to be able to protect her. My top priority right now was to master formation as soon as possible. Sakurai's aloof evasiveness aside, it was clear as day that I'd have about a snowball's chance in hell to fend off Rusalka and Wilhelm otherwise. And so the school day drew to a close. Today was only half day due to being Saturday. I skipped all my classes and sat around on the roof pondering what to do next. I mean, school feels so unimportant right now, right? As the school was an electrical ground, it would probably be best for me to stay here as much as possible. Hell, maybe I'd go so far as spending the night here. Who knows? I figured today might very well be the day I did that. I had stuff to take care of anyway. I closed my eyes and focused, trying to practice what I did in the classroom the other night, activating my Ananerbe. I had repeated the process hundreds and hundreds of times since early morning. My eyes slowly fluttered open. I'd been at it for over 5 hours now, but I still couldn't control it all that well. My power was omnidirectional, which meant that unless I had a firm grip on the reins, I'd never be free from the risk of recklessly slicing up friend and foe alike. In all honesty, this hardly felt like a power suited for protecting others. The way it was prone to indiscriminately harming everything and everyone in its vicinity. It made it seem more like a wild animal gone berserk. I took a deep breath and reached out with my right hand, focusing on everything from my shoulder to my fingertips, and even beyond that, picturing something flying out of it. That something was the blade of a guillotine, having experienced numerous decapitations in that dreamscape ever since I'd been discharged from the hospital. Its sheer prowess had long since seeped into the very crevices of my being. As such, I could replicate its sharpness with relative ease. The problem, as I previously implied, lay in controlling it. On that front, Kasumi did a better job than me. Back then, I viewed her attacks as nothing more than a haphazardly released series of slashes. Forcing this thing to properly hit its target was no trivial feat. I wasn't praising her for such a deed, nor did I want to. But if I was to be honest, being able to aim all her slashes directly at my neck without fail stood testament to a certain level of skill. Hard to tell if it was her kendo experience or single-minded personality at work there, though. At any rate, for a slacker like me, who had yet to put serious effort into anything in life, felt like a bit of a tough assignment to tackle. As in, it wasn't going well at all. Much like right now. Despite aiming for the empty can sitting lonely on the bench, I ended up slicing up the wire mesh, a good 3 meters away from it. I sucked at this big time. More tired than exasperated, I ended up throwing myself spread eagle onto the ground. I had the time neither to slack off nor sulk, but I wasn't going to get anywhere at this rate. I needed a more effective way to train, and I needed it now. If I kept this up, I'd end up pointlessly destroying school property without any results to show for it. Sakurai claimed that grasping and giving it form was key, which made me consider sketching it down. I felt that to be kind of off the mark, really. What I likely need is a way to crystallize the aggression within me. What the hell was the logic behind having a guy with a fear of blades materialize a guillotine? Oh, why even me? Of all people, why me? What's so special about me? Take Marie, for example. What exactly was her deal? Judging from the vague memories I had of that dream, I got the feeling she was talking something about fate or predestination. I could say for sure I didn't know any French people, nor had I ever visited the country. I can't imagine the two of us having any kind of predestined relationship. But there was one thing I knew for a fact.
やっぱりこれか。
I gently placed a finger on my neck. The makeup I applied to the skin may have concealed it nicely, but Marie's decapitation scar was definitely there. In life, she must have been executed with a guillotine. She didn't give me the impression of a sinner or a criminal. But then again, the 18th century was the heyday of civil revolutions and witch trials. Plenty of people must have died for crimes they never even committed. You know, then perhaps the true nature of this power came in the form of the grudges and regrets from her past life, which would certainly explain her indiscriminate urge to destroy everything in her path. On the other hand, I really couldn't sense the faintest hint of malice from Marie herself. It's all so confusing. Every time I think about it, I get 100 more questions. An Irae devoured souls, growing stronger with each kill. Upon fusing with beings like that, resisting the urge to kill felt like the height of stupidity. Sakurai went so far as to call it suicide. In short, unless I supplied it with a constant sacrifice, as it would eat away at my own soul until I died. Maybe that's what I want, you know? I mean, it's a horrible way to go, but at least we don't kill anybody. No. Those freaks are still running around. So the total stock I had at the moment were the 10 or so people Kasumi had killed. Sure didn't sound like a lot. I was likely going to use them all up the moment fighting broke out for real. With that said, using the souls of innocent people as fuel for my purposes was out of the question. I wouldn't do it. My best bet was to try and beat the first enemy with only my soul. Then I could just absorb and keep using the souls of my defeated enemies afterwards. I mean, they've already absorbed a bunch of souls. Do I get their souls too? Like, you know, like a huge loot drop or something from an enemy? That would be awesome. Wait, is that how it works? Well, maybe. Sounded kinda... No. No, that's gonna be impossible. No, we're not gonna be able to do that. At any rate, the problem was picking a first opponent. According to Sakura, I was up against 12 others. Considering I'd eventually have to face them all, logic would dictate that I started with the weakest. That would be her. Probably. Not necessarily the most solid plan in terms of absorbing souls, but nothing good would come from overstepping my bounds either. You know, you can't go after, you know, you gotta fight the mid-boss before you fight the regular boss. Who should I aim my sights on? Wilhelm was a powerhouse for sure. Rusalka, a complete enigma. We don't know much about her. As for Sakurai, well, more than anything, she was tough to deal with. Then there was that Spine guy, whom I knew nothing about. Seeing how I'd yet to actually meet him, I wondered how strong of an opponent he'd be. Wait, what the hell was I even thinking? What am I doing? I couldn't count my chickens before they had hatched, taking on someone let alone defeating them in my current state? Huh. I felt baffled by my own stupidity. No, that's the wrong way to go about it. Gotta have another angle. In the end, I had to keep my sights locked on what I could accomplish at the moment. I sat down cross-legged, once again focusing my attention on destroying school property. I am a delinquent after all, might as well earn the title. At least the door was locked, so I didn't have to worry about straight attack mowing down Himuro in case she happened to show up out of the blue. Oh my god, that would be fucking horrible. And just like that, 4.5 hours passed. I'd been relentlessly practicing until sunset, but I wasn't seeing the results I wanted. Yeah, maybe I just lacked necessary talent. I didn't particularly lament, nor have a talent for murder. But that in itself was a little consolation, given my current situation. I felt genuinely frustrated. I guess. What else are we gonna do? I was gonna spend the night at school. I first needed to make the necessary preparations, like food, to name just one.
Yosh.
I stood up and left the roof, with no progress to show for my efforts, save for the fact that the urges within me appeared to recede a bit. No doubt because I spent half the day slicing things up. So even if I left school, I doubted I would attack civilians out of nowhere. That, if nothing else, made continuing on with this pathetic training regimen worth it. And yet... Shit. Kasumi, why was she here?
Damn
it, the shoes. did give away.
別にあんたが不真面目なのは今に始まったことじゃないけどさ。私に言えないようなことなの？
That's... I couldn't tell her. No matter what. I could never allow her to remember that incident. And I wasn't going to let her get involved in my current predicament either. In which case...
ちょっとダメよ！逃がさないからね！
Kasumi grabbed hold of my arm to stop me as I tried to turn around. However... she let go of me in surprise, like she just touched red-hot coals. Could she have noticed something? My chest ached from the look she gave me, one of bafflement mixed with a twinge of trepidation. I had to lie to her.
風邪気味だからあんまり寄らない方がいいと思うぞ。
そうなの？
ああ。
What was I supposed to do about it, though? Quite frankly, I couldn't afford to focus on this right now. I've got other pressing issues. You know, she was clearly not the type to back down to being continuously ignored. If anything, it might have been more dangerous to let her wander aimlessly with no sense of impending danger. In which case, I needed something, anything, that would make her back off without revealing the truth. Something that would convince her. Was there anything that would get through to her?
ねえレン、私は役に立てないのかな？
Don't say yes. She said the same thing that night.
男ってさ、あんまり干渉されたがらないっていうか、そういうところがあるの本とかで知ってるけど、なんかこう、いてもいなくても関係ないみたいな、つまんない気持ちになっちゃうよ。
This was a bit of an awkward dilemma. I mean, even I knew girls had a part like that to them. Kasumi was a girl, too.
でもほら、私体育会系じゃない？説明してくれれば割とあっさり納得しちゃうかもしれないよ。こんな風によくわからないまま避けられるのは見えなくて変な感じ。だから。
She must have felt irritated by my constant lack of answers and tried her best to recklessly struggle due to not seeing the whole picture. In a way, those feelings of hers, being on a different scale, resembled the way I felt about Sakura. I understood that. I knew I couldn't just shrug this off. Hell, considering Kasumi's honest, clear-cut personality, the problem was likely more pronounced in her case.
私にできることはない？空気読んでないのはわかるけど、やっぱりこんなんじゃ寂しいよ。
Kasumi's words made the event of that fateful night drift back to the forefront of my mind. Those very same feelings of hers ended up causing her all that pain. I needed to deal with this in a clever way to make sure she would never go through a nightmare like that again. If I couldn't tell her the truth, the least I could do was fabricate a convincing enough lie. And obviously, our continued attempts at ignoring her to the point of looking unnatural would be likely telling her to pry further, ultimately achieving the opposite effect. I needed to think. Was there nothing else I could use? I couldn't delay this issue. I had to get it over with right away. So, what would make her stop needlessly worrying about me while also keeping her away? Momentarily averting my gaze from the suspicious Kasumi, I took a great deep breath. By the time I looked her in the eye again, my lips had curled into a wry smile, akin to the Grinch.
誰にも言うなよ。
Would this really work? Well, guess we should find out.
俺、桜井と付き合ってるんだ。
Probably should have came up with another lie, buddy.
だから、お前と一緒にいるのはあんまり良くない。
ちょっと待ってよ。
Not the most pleasant thing I've come up with, sure. But I had no other choice. Hopefully what happened this morning would help in convincing her, talking to her, kind of secretly.
何？桜井さんって桜井さん？
Hope Sakura doesn't get word of this. That could be very bad.
他にどこの桜井がいるんだよ。
It's Japan. There's got to be at least 50 of them in our class.
でもさ。
あいつめちゃくちゃ嫉妬深いんだよ。 俺が他の女と話してるだけですごい怒る。
そうなの？
I mean, given the information she knows, I guess the lie was okay.
そう。だからお前とかもろにやばい。朝だって俺が引き離さなかったらどうなってたか想像するのも恐ろしいよ。ちょっとあの時のあいつの目、人を殺せる目だったろ。
She kind of always looks like that, though. Kisumi gave me a panicked look, as if the very thought of what I told her sent a chill down her spine. I wasn't lying, though. I could totally see Sakura going on an actual rampage. Trying to do my best impression of a troubled boyfriend, I went on.
お前が隣に住んでるって知られた時とか大変だった。その上壁に穴が開いてるとかまでバレたらどうなるかわからない。だから塞い
That's
だんだ
smart
けど。
thinking right there. Rand using that brain.
なんか話しがたくてな。そういうわけなんだけど、納得したか？
God, I hope she buys this.
でも全然そんな感じなかったじゃない。だいたい子供じゃないんだからなんで内緒にする必要が。
You'd get jealous.
あいつ照れ屋なんだよ。
Very shy.
あとなんていうか秘密の共有、そういうのがこう絆を深くするんだとかなんとか。お前そういうの分かるか？
Oh man, are we gonna have to act all lovey-dovey with Sakura right now? Oh my gosh.
いや、私だったら次の日に速攻で言いふらして回ると思うけど、嬉しいし。ってそんなことはどうでもよくて。
Okay.
それ本当なの？
嘘じゃない。
なんで間が空くのよ。
Oh shit. Our lie's unraveling.
恥ずかしくてな。
Come on, Ram, we don't get embarrassed. I got shivers from what I just said. It might have been a random excuse that came with the heat of the moment. But was that really something I wanted her to think? But, you know, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, as they say. If I lost my cool and ended up feeding her a huge jumble of fact and fiction, she might begin to see the holes in my story. If I were to play my cards right, I'd have to.
そういうことだけど、質問はあるか？
This would be my chance to alleviate her suspicions and explain anything that would sound odd to her.
じゃあさ、いつから付き合ってたの
2 weeks. No, that's too long. A week. No. How fast? It seems like every day everyone's getting a confession or something in Japan. 3 days.
3日前だけど、そうなるまでの準備期間も入れると1週間くらいか。
You've got to be shitting me. I guessed it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
それだと桜井さんが転校してきてすぐじゃない。どんな一目惚れなのよ。っていうかどっちから告白したのよ。
どっちからともなく。
What? How does that work?
何それ。
We just stumbled into it.
だからなんとなくっていうか、あいつはほら美人だろ。俺としてもそりゃ多少は気になるわけで。
We're a power couple. You wouldn't understand.
まあそのチラチラ見てたら目が合うこととか多くてな。それでなんとなくっていうか。
話すようになって好きになってしまったと。
うん。
好きになってしまったと。
God damn it. No. Don't say it, Ren. Okay, we found love.
メタメタのベタベタに惚れてイジャラぶってしまったと。
All the time. Horrible. We're gonna have to be all lovey-dovey with Sakura right now, otherwise this facade is not gonna work.
いやそんなことはないぞ。
はっきりしなさい。
なんで怒るんだよ。
Right? Why are you so pissed off?
それは同じ女としてそういう態度はいかんのじゃないかと思うのですよ。
I treat her well, thank you very much.
だいたいあんた付き合ってるならなんで今一人なのよ。一緒に登下校とか基本じゃない。
I had school stuff.
そりゃまあちょっと
We had a
喧嘩したし。
fight. We had a horrible fight. You know how it is. You know, the little things.
朝のこと？
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but yeah.
そうかな。多分。
ちゃんとフォローした？
It's where I was headed.
いや。
うわぁ、こいつダメだよ。恋愛方向音痴だよ。
Right, I'm so hopeless I don't know how to do this at all.
お前に言われたくねえよ。
Have you even been in a relationship?
私のことはどうでもいいでしょ。
だから
I was the one who came with this nonsensical story. But I was about fed up with discussing it any further at this point.
とにかくそういうわけでもういいだろう。フォローしろって言うなら今からするし、お前は早く家に帰れ。
フォローって桜井さんの家に行くの？
Oh shit.
いや、
No,
電話
we're
か
gonna
な。
call her. We don't know where she lives.
あのね、ダメだよ。そういうのは直接会ってやらないと意味ない。
Well, that's
顔が
gonna
見
be
え
a
ない
big
と
problem.
通じないことって多いんだからね。それに明日土曜だよ。3日前からって言うんなら付き合い始めて最初の週末になるんだよ。そういうのを大事にしないとダメだってば。
そうは言うがな。
I actually had no idea where Sakurai lived. All I had was her text address. Do people say text address? It's a phone number, okay? We have her phone number. If I kept this up, because somebody was gonna figure out I was full of shit.
まあ分かった。分かったからお前はもう帰れ。言っただろ。あいつやきもちすごいんだよ。世話焼いてくれるのは嬉しいけど、今が大事な時期だって言うなら、俺たちの問題は俺たちで片付けるよ。それが筋だろ。
None of that was actually a lie. That's how it really felt.
まあ確かにそうだよね。じゃあ整理するけど、レイは桜井さんと付き合ってて、彼女がやきもち焼きだから信頼関係が盤石になるまで私を含めた他の女の子とは距離を置きたいと。
Bingo. You got it.
そう。
分かった。じゃあ好きって言って。
は？
Someone kill me. Please.
桜井さんが好きだから付き合ってんでしょ。だったら今ここでその気持ちを口にして。
No, we can't. No, no.
なんで？
なんででもそれ聞いたら諦める。
何よ？
もううっさいなこの男は。あんた鈍いふりばっかりか。
うん。
ほらほらほら、桜井さんが好きなんでしょ。だったら言えるはずだよね。さあ恥ずかしがらず大きな声で世界の中心的に叫ぶ愛を、ラブを、リビドー。
最後の違うだろ。
Yeah, that's not right. Come on.
違わないもん。年頃の男の子と女の子だもん。やること他にないんだもん。
Sakura is pretty attractive. No, no, we can't think like that. Urge to punch. Rising.
あれいいのかな。そんなことで彼女を大事にできるのかな。お姉さんは心配だな。
勝手に言ってろ。
Right.
ああもうそうやってすぐ逃げる。
But it looked like I succeeded in tricking her for the time being. It's only gonna be a matter of time before she finds out, though. Though it led to an odd misunderstanding, Sakurai would be out of the picture once I accomplished my goal. Kasumi labeling me good-for-nothing boyfriend was a small price to pay for that. She continued yammering on about some nonsense next to me, but at least she seemed to be convinced. All I had left to do was wait for the right time to tell her I was going to Sakurai's place. If I did that, she'd probably head home, no questions asked, plus I could stay at school all weekend without her getting suspicious. Well, it was sickening to consider, but I'd tell her I made up with Sakurai and the two of us went on a date. So...
ねえねえ、ところでやっぱり二人の時はケイとか呼び捨てにしちゃってたりするんすか、旦那。
knock it off, come on. Seeing her act this way for the first time in ages made me feel somewhat relieved. Yeah, that's true. I'd also forgotten the ache in my neck, not to mention my urge to hurt others had receded. One could say I finally had my first moment of genuine repose in quite a while. And due to that, I was too late in noticing a certain presence passing me by in the warm sunset, exuding a positively frigid aura.
どうしてあなたもなかなか苦労人ですね、サラトゥストラ。